Hello, everybody. Welcome to our town hall. Thank you for spending some time with us. Man, I genuinely miss all of you. I miss being at the theater. I miss hugging you. I miss performing. I miss dancing. I miss the magic. So even though I can't see you right now, please know that I am extending all my love and all my hugs to you because it's been rough. So thank you. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for believing in us. And thank you for helping us to keep our doors open because that's what we want to do. We do not want to close our doors. We want to get through this stronger and better than ever. So, welcome to all of you. So, for this town hall, we wanted to give you an opportunity to see what it is that the board of directors are thinking about and how we're going to continue moving forward through this pandemic time. I want to touch on some of the things that we did in 2020. I want to talk about what 2021 is going to look like. We are going to do some finances because I know a lot of you are wondering, how are we keeping our doors open and how are we going to continue to keep our doors open? And we are going to do some opportunities for you to volunteer, some of the committees that you can join. And we will have an opportunity for you to ask us, the board of directors, any questions that you want. So not all of the board of directors is here. We are representing one another, if that makes any sense. So my name is Angie Alley, because I forgot to say that, and I'm on the board of directors. So, all right, welcome. So what did we do in 2020? We had so many plans for 2020, and then 2020 was like, neat, I have other plans. So we had to change what it is that we were looking at. So here's some of the things that we did within 2020. We'll wait for the next slide here. Perfect. Well, we started off the year with Dreamgirls, and that was just an immensely wonderful, wonderful show. We did that over at APAC, and it was sensational and a huge success. So Dreamgirls absolutely set us up for a wonderful 2020. So thank you to Dreamgirls. All right, after Dreamgirls, that's when COVID hit. So Jenny, and other people on the board of directors came up with this wonderful idea called Share Your Song, where it was an opportunity for us to be able to sing for the community, because let's face it, we miss that. So people had the opportunity to record themselves sharing something, a song that really means a lot to them. And I mean, our community, our family is rich with talent. Thank you to all of you who did share your song. It was just a great way for us to be able to celebrate you, your talent, and the joy that you have for live musical theater. Once Share Your Song was over, then we did the summer series as well. And that was an opportunity for us to return back to the theater and be within the community and the environment that we love so much. What was really cool about the summer series is extra precautions went into making sure that we were safe. So Jonathan Ragsdale and Seth Garcia and, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I'm not saying your name, so many people jumped on and figured out, how can we edit this to make sure that this video looks like there's all sorts of people, when in reality there was just a couple people in the theater at one time, and then the videos were edited together to make it look like there was a lot of us. So I had the opportunity to be a part of Seasons of Love, and that was a really cool song to be a part of. So thank you to everybody who participated in the summer series. After the summer series ended, we did the Explore the Arts, which was really just a very wonderful opportunity, particularly for the educational standpoint for our theater, for people to be able to take classes and continue honing in on the skills in which we all love. And we had things like makeup, like that was a really cool thing that we learned how to do makeup, and they did a theme, and there was various different themes with that, zombies and witches, fantasy. So that was a really a wonderful opportunity to continue to have some of those virtual classes going. Once the Explore the Arts was done, then we did something that we've never done before, and we did an entirely socially distant concert-ish version of Spamalot, and that was awesome. That was an opportunity for people to really spread their wings and just try on all sorts of skills, particularly editing skills. Again, what we did with Spamalot, we did with the summer series. There was only a couple people within the theater, and they videotaped it and then edited to make it look like there was a lot of people. So that was a neat opportunity for people to go into little booths and record themselves singing, and then that singing was recorded to make it look like it was live. So what was really neat about Spamalot is we had a whole host of new people join our family. And that's what we want at musical theater. We want to continually open our doors to let new people into our family. And boy, did people rise to the occasion with that. So that was neat. I can tell you, my husband and I sat around the computer, we ate dinner, we laughed. Like, I felt like I was back with my family. So wonderful, wonderful job with Spamalot. So after Spamalot, we were done. So I would like to hand it over to Jenny, our wonderful president, and she's going to talk about the steps that we took to ensure our safety while continuing in the theater. Jenny.
Thanks, Angie. As she said, welcome everyone. We are so excited to see you theoretically and to have you join us today just to kind of get an update on where we are at, things that have happened in the past year unexpectedly, and where we are going. The precautions that our health and safety team have put in place in order for us to be in the building together is a lot, and it's a lot of great things that are happening. Social distancing, of course, 6 feet apart from each other at all times. We wear face masks in the building, face masks while we are singing. Um, we have different little bubbles, is what we call them, of clear shower curtains that are for our actors and our singers to be able to safely practice. Every time we switch out, we have it sprayed down with isopropyl alcohol. So if you walk into our building, it very much smells of cleaning products. We let it dry out. All of our actors currently for the Enchanted Cabaret, we have them spaced out. So only two, maybe three of our actors are in the building at a time, whether it is in our black box space for music rehearsal or in the very, very back rehearsal space with choreography. We do temperature checks right as you come in through the door, making sure that everyone checks in through a cognito form before they even enter the building, just so we have contact tracing in case anything does happen. We frequently sanitize everything, wiping down spaces. We have hand sanitizer out. Our water fountain is even cut off so that way we aren't putting our mouths onto anything. No food is allowed in the building or communal eating. Um, Water is highly encouraged always as our actors are singing or dancing and that they are staying well hydrated. We have made every effort to have all of our music pre-recorded. So movie magic, and in case I'm bursting anyone's bubble, any movie musical that you see more than likely has all been pre-recorded in a studio, and the actors are all lip syncing to their own voices. We were able to accomplish this with Spamalot, and it is something that we are now doing with the Enchanted Cabaret. So many, many things have been taken into consideration while we are trying to put together new programs and virtual productions for you, our community, along with blocking and along with choreography and anything that is staged, all of our actors will also be 6 feet apart. So the fun part we will be doing once we get into filming and editing will be basically camera tricks. Anyone that you will see that may be in a shot together is actually not in a shot together. Anyone that you do happen to see in a shot together are actually in the same bubble. We actually have a set of sisters that are in our show, so obviously they live together, and we also have a husband and husband who live together, so you might see them in some scenes together too. So all of this is done in taking a lot of caution, and even our stage manager, Elizabeth Ponick, who is stage managing the Enchanted Cabaret and Spamalot, is very on top of things as far as making sure that we are all safe. So a huge shout out and thank you to her and the production teams of Spamalot and currently for the Cabaret, who are making sure that anybody who walks into our building for the production or in general are feeling safe. So before we bring on Jordan for the 2021 highlights or things that are coming up, I have the task, I can't even say unfortunate or fortunate task, of telling everyone that as a board, we have responded to your questionnaires and your surveys and your comments and have decided to officially cancel our 2021 season. That being Big Fish, Fun Home, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Carrie, and Cinderella. Now, this does not mean that we are never ever going to put them on. With the promise and hope of vaccinations coming out and listening to what you, the community, has to tell us about how you're feeling about possibly coming and seeing shows again in the black box and what it would take for you to feel safe and secure in that, we decided it is better to just be safe than sorry. And when the time is ready, we are so fully prepared and will be prepared. I know our production teams are very anxious and excited and have been since end of 2019 to get these productions going. So it is not a complete goodbye forever. It is a hopeful we can return to the black box safely and be able to see those productions with one another when the time is ready. We are ensuring on we are ensuring that everyone's safety always comes first, whether you are a cast, a crew, you are a production team. So this technical season will be canceled, but also postponed at the same time. So none of those shows will be going up this year, but 2022 is when you can expect to see the advertisements going up for those shows. So with that, and on a much, much happier note, Jordan, our vice president, is going to tell us about what we do have going on for 2021.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I get the wonderful chance to speak a little bit about what we're doing now, as Jenny just said. So first thing is the Enchanted Cabaret, which is the project that is being currently worked on. It is, as Jenny was mentioning, it is another socially distanced production that we're doing, featuring a lot of different songs, different styles throughout the different decades. It will be a beautiful production. I'm so excited to see it all come together. We're in the middle of doing all of the vocal recording now and playing with all of that fun stuff. And beyond that, as part of an additional fundraiser, and the Enchanted Cabaret is set up as a fundraiser where people will be able to stream it as we put it out there, and then we'll have the opportunity to donate what they donate as the production's going on and after. In addition to this, another fundraiser that we're working on is we've actually been setting up a Patreon account where people will be able to sign up for a monthly donation to be able to continually support Musical Theater Southwest. And as with many Patreons, along with it comes special benefits. And the wonderful thing about our Patreon right now is that we will be, through Patreon, we will be putting out radio productions of scripts that have been built for us. Alyssa has been producing, has been working on these scripts and has been doing a lot of hard work on this. She's also directing these radio shows. These include, these will be released once a month. And the first one will be Sherlock Holmes in A Scandal in Bohemia, followed by Philip Marlowe in Trouble Is My Business, and then Alice in Wonderland Part 1 and 2. And these will be exclusively available on our Patreon. So for the low price of $5 a month, you will be able to hear these productions as they come out once a month. Now, along with this, we will be looking for other productions to do later in the year and also other things to do on the Patreon. So keep your ears out for other opportunities that might be coming down the way. And later in this season, we will be looking forward to possibly putting together more productions. But like I said, keep your ears out for that. And that's basically our season coming up so far. It's an exciting one. We're just starting out, but no doubt it'll be exciting. So thank you for your time. And next up, we will have Debbie talking about finance. She will get the opportunity to share with us a little bit about what has been going on with MTS in terms of the finance. So as soon as she's ready to go, we will hear that.
I'm ready. I realized I was on mute, so sorry. Technology. So anyway, my name is Debbie Flores. I'm the treasurer for Musical Theater Southwest. I've been the treasurer for the past 5 years. I am in charge of keeping the books, making sure that the money is allocated the way it needs to be, writing checks for the performances for our crews and for our licensing fees and everything. So if they'll bring up the next slide, I'm going to show you what happened last year compared to 2019. So 2019, we had a great year. The majority of our shows completely sold out every single performance, which is wonderful. I mean, I don't think that's had happened in a really long time. You can see on this chart for 2019, we had contributions. We had part of a fundraiser drive, and we also got a couple of grants, which helped us to put on some of the shows. They helped cover finances. The shows themselves brought in revenue of over $214,000. Then you kind of go over to 2020, and you see that last year we brought in $65,000, which is a little misleading, because if you look further down, you're going to see revenue less expenses. When we did Dreamgirls, which was the only full production that we were able to put on in 2020, we did it in conjunction with the African American Performing Arts Center. So that means we split all the profits and all the expenses down the middle. So out of that $65,000, we had about $30-ish thousand in expenses, and then so that left us with a little over $30,000 in profit, and then we had to split that in half with APAC, and they got half and we kept half. So out of that total revenue of the 99, we didn't get to keep all of that. But anyway, you can see the huge difference between 2019 and 2020. Our revenue mostly comes in from selling tickets, and we weren't able to do that this year. We did make a very small profit on Spam-A-Lot, which was an experiment to see if we could do it, and we found out, yeah, we can. So that's why we're pushing on with the next shows. Can you roll the next slide, please? So this is a same information, a different style of viewing for those of you that love graphs and financial information. Don't fall asleep for those of you that don't. But it's basically the same information, just in a different version. So go ahead and roll the next one. Again, another version of the same information. 2019 was a great year. And 2020, not so much. So anyway, the summer series and the Share Your Song were wonderful little productions, but we didn't charge any fees or anything for you all to be able to watch those. So we didn't make any money on that. Spam-A-Lot, again, we did make a small amount. We didn't have a big fundraiser in 2020 because we kept thinking, oh, the pandemic will be, it'll be over. We'll be able to put on, the last maybe 3 shows. And then it was like, well, maybe we can put on the last 2 shows. Well, maybe we can put on the holiday show. That didn't happen. So towards the end of the year, we decided to try and do a couple of little small fundraising drives. And we did bring in small amounts to help us take care of our bills. We still have to pay rent. We still have to pay utilities, office expenses, which is our systems that we use, like QuickBooks for our bookkeeping, and the emails that you get once a month. We have to pay for that. So there's different expenses that we still have to pay for that we're not necessarily getting money in. So will we survive? Fortunately, since 2019 was such a good year, we had a pretty fair amount of money in the bank. So we're basically living off that right now. We are down about getting to the $30,000 mark that we have gone down without bringing any money in. We can technically survive for another 16 months on just that money, but we're hoping we don't have to. We're hoping that with the shows that we're putting on virtually, that we can recoup some of that so that we can still survive and pay our bills and keep our building and do all that good stuff. So that, again, that brings up the cabaret, which is going to be a fundraiser. We will be selling spots. I'm not going to say tickets because it's going to be, can you give us $20? Can you give us $100? Can you, whatever you can afford to see the show. It's going to be that type of fundraiser. I think that's all I have to say. So I'm going to hand it back over to Jenny.
Thanks, Debbie. And as she was saying with our Enchanted Cabaret, so this is going to be a fundraiser indeed. We don't have the dates set just quite yet with all of the filming and editing that we have to do. You can expect it somewhere at the end of March, early April. And with it being a pay what you can to view the show, and you do not have to as well, it is going to be you will be able to view it for free, but we are highly encouraging that you make a donation. We will also have it set up with a few MCs later to be announced, as well as some raffle items that are fairy tale themed that you can also contribute to and be able to keep something from the show and other items that are related to that. So there's going to be different opportunities, not just contributing to the funds for the cabaret itself, but also some fun items that you'll be able to be on the lookout for. So along with fundraising, we need you. Volunteering at MTS is basically MTS. The board of directors are all volunteer members. No one on our board gets paid. We also have 11 committees. I know our committees are something maybe you've heard about, maybe you've heard of one or two of them. We in fact have 11 of them. The first one being our amigos, and that's the one that people typically tend to hear the most about. Those are considered our front of house volunteers when we do have in-person shows, as well as our house managers. They also help with box office and just being an usher. But the Amigos committee themselves are the ones who help organize the rest of the volunteers. So if you are wanting to volunteer, but you're like, talking to people in a lobby or being an usher, not really my thing, but I really know how to budget, or I have some skills in graphic design, or I know how to do write-ups for press releases. The Amigos are going to be able to point you in the right direction for where you are going to fit best as a volunteer. Our head of our Amigos happens to be the wonderful Angie Alley, and um, she will be the contact for anyone wanting to volunteer, or if you just want to be kept on the list to say, hey, if anything's coming up, one-time thing, you can also volunteer for that as well. So our next committee is development and outreach. Development and outreach plays a crucial part in our organization. These are individuals who want to help MTS grow as an organization and with other community partners. So individuals help with that. We need individuals who have fundraising experience, who have grant writing experience, experience in how to pull other community groups in and be a part of what MTS is as an organization, and to be able to help bring in a larger donor base for us. Development and outreach is our kind of our one of our backbone unseen crew members of the organization, because they have this past year especially have tirelessly been looking up grants and applying for grants. So a shout out to two of our board members in particular, Lilia Ruiz and Vicky Singer, who spend time digging into those and gathering all the information for us to be able to have some money coming in. And another committee that we are going to need help with is our education committee. Part of our goals at MTS and in our mission is to educate the community through theater arts. If you are an educator or you have experience in teaching voice, dance, acting, any knowledge that you have of backstage stuff, sound, lighting, crewing, we want you to be a part of the education committee. Um, we want to build up more workshops and education sessions virtually and hopefully one day back in person. We need from you, the community, people who are willing to help put those programs together and to design them with that experience. But also, if you're not an educator and you have ideas for workshops or classes that you would want to see, master classes, send us your ideas and we would be more than happy to consider those to meet the needs of our community. We will take any and all suggestions and maybe things that we haven't even thought of. What is it that you as a community would like to see MTS put on? And our education committee are is the one that handles putting together those workshops and classes. The next committee we have is our finance committee. Now, finance is a huge thing in any organization. When you think Musical Theater Southwest, you don't think, yes, I want to be on the finance committee. However, if you have had any skills in or have practiced law, attorneys that are specifically skilled in nonprofit law, we can use your advice and expertise. Accountants, people who have done money management as a consultant, daily bookkeeping is something that we need. Anyone who has a background in fine arts administration, specifically in the finance area, and others who have experience in grant writing and fundraising to help understand where those funds can go and how they can be distributed. We need you. So that is something that we are looking to build in our finance committee. History and archives. Musical Theater Southwest, as of this year, will have been around for 62 years. Started off as Albuquerque Light Opera and then Albuquerque Civic Light Opera in, 62 years ago. My brain is not going to do the math really quick. But we have been a long-standing organization, and with that comes a lot of history. Anyone with librarian skills or a knack for organizing things. We need help organizing some scripts that we have, any of our old photos and programs. We also have, newspaper articles, and being able to now change that into software cataloging for our historical purposes and for things that we have in-house. Costumes that we haven't used in a long time, wardrobe needs or help, props that we have, different sets of equipment. History and Archive is who are the is the committee that is going to be able to uphold our memory for the future. So if you feel like you have any of those skills, we will definitely have the contact for that, which is Alyssa Hall. And all of these contacts and the committee chairs are available to view on the website. If you go to the About Us section at the top of the page and click on committees, it gives a brief description of the committees as well as the chairperson and their contact information. So we have a couple more to get through. Marketing and media, please help us. If you have knowledge of managing a website, in particular, we use SendGrid for our newsletters and emails blasts, but we use WordPress for our websites. I can personally tell you I need your help on that. I am not a web designer by any means. I know how to Google things and look things up on YouTube. I am the one who has been trying to manage the website, and I know it can look so much better. So if you ever see anything on there that's a mistake, it is completely my fault, and I own that. I'm not a web designer. As volunteers of MTS and being a board member, the board takes on many, many tasks. So that is one thing that we desperately need for marketing and media. We will need a Patreon manager once we get it up and running for the content we will be putting out. Graphic designers or anyone who has done light work in that, please come join us. We need someone to organize and to coordinate our marketing calendar. Press release writers, someone just to do note taking during our meetings. Looking at past data, research, and coordination of everything that we have done, and even just a public relations manager to say, hey, this would be a really good opportunity. Have you tried this? Marketing and media is how you see what MTS is doing. If you feel like you have any sort of experience or practice knowledge in marketing media, please feel free to send a message my way. I am the chair of marketing and media as well, and that my email address will also be on the website. Our next committee is nominations. believe it or not, people who are on the board don't just step into a room and say, hey, I want to be on the board. If you're interested in either being on the board, you can reach out to Hope Ruiz and she can give you information more on how to become a member. Our board is, we have anywhere from 10 to 15 members max at a time, and currently we have 11. So if you're interested in even being on that committee to seek out individuals who might have skills that would benefit MTS, that is the committee that you are going to want to join. And our next one is office and facilities. Any of you that have been to a show know that that building has to be maintained. We have an office staff in a regular year, not a pandemic year, who answers the phone regularly for us, leads and guides you to answers for your questions, also helps with box office, things that we need just within the building. We don't particularly have a maintenance person, so we need your help if you have plumbing experience, heating and cooling, just cleaning up from time to time. If you know anything about electrical work, in the summertime when the weeds start growing like crazy, we have to go out there and pick them. And often the board or a few volunteers will take turns and we'll go picking weeds. It's as simple as just saying, hey, I can come help this one day. You have contributed, and it means a huge deal to us as an organization that we are always looking our best presentable as a building from the inside and out. Anytime a show is done, we have to repaint it. When you see it, has these beautiful backgrounds. The walls have been painted, the floors have been painted, but it is traditionally a black box. So anytime a show is finished, it has to be reset. If you just want to come in and paint, we will sign you up and help you, and you can help us get it back into a reset position. We also, from time to time, we'll rework our props and costumes. We've done rentals before, and we also need to get those organized when things come in and out. So if you feel like you fit any of those needs, absolutely contact Hope Ruiz, is our chairperson of office and facilities. Policy and bylaws. Again, a theater needs these in order to be successful, as well as any organization, just like finance. So if you have knowledge or experience in bylaws and policy, procedures and protocols, experience in building flow charts to help explain how things work in the theater, or have any interest in assessing and forming policies with the knowledge of a theater background, then by all means, we want to have you on that policy and bylaws team. We want to include our community in shaping the way we officially run as an organization. And one of our last committees, in the organization is production coordination and artistic quality. Now, this is a huge one, and this committee does a lot of great things. So if you are an individual who wants to help define and refine the process of putting on a successful show, or you want to help with project coordination and development, if you have experience in various areas of the theater, either with electronic equipment, diagnostics and repair, or even you want to help create spreadsheets, our production and artistic quality committee is the group who helps the production itself, who helps the production teams with what they need. Our stage managers help create programs so that our cast knows when to come in from rehearsal. There's a lot of organization that goes into a production, and this committee is the one that helps to ensure that everything is getting done, that everything is going smoothly, and that it is meeting the standards and the expectations that you as an audience are used to, and looking at the goals of MTS and what we would like what we would like to have put on. So that committee can always use people and your expertise. And our last one is a subcommittee of that of PCAQ. And what this subcommittee does is show selection. If you want to have a say in what kind of shows we should do, we need you. Maybe you don't actually want to be on stage. Maybe you don't want to direct. Maybe you don't want to be in the cast or even on the crew, but you really, really think, hey, this is the show that MTS should do. Come join this committee. You're going to help build surveys that will go out to the community to get the feedback and take those results and research the shows that have been suggested. Are they available for us to do? Oftentimes we get ambitious requests such as, we've seen Hamilton come up, we have seen Wicked come up. While we would love to do those shows, the rights are not available and don't seem to be available or won't for a very long time. There's many things that go into, oh, hey, we should just do this show. You have to look in and see, are they available? What is it going to cost us? How long do we want to run the show? These are going to be the decisions and the information that show selection will work with PCAQ on and then present it to the board for approval. All of these committees work hand in hand to make sure that MTS is working and making sure that the outcome for our shows is something that is worth seeing and worth being a part of. MTS has always made an effort to hear you, our community, and meet the needs of the community. So making sure that even in shows, are we representing diverse cultures and casts, diverse writers and script writers and songwriters. So that is something that that committee will be looking into for us in the future. So if you think you would like to be a part of that, that subcommittee, um, Elizabeth Ponick and Jordan Embry are co-chairs of that, and you can get in touch with them. So I'm sorry you had to listen to all of that, but our last committee is health and safety. So this is obviously a new one that we have had to install. Anyone that's a medical professional, whether you're practicing or have done consultations or can do consultations for us, we encourage you to be that voice for our organization as we try and navigate and go and look through the Department of Health requirements right now for anyone being in our building or being able to open again when the time is allowed for our organization. Things that we need, which is pretty much what everyone need, donations of hand sanitizer, gloves, or if you have masks or extra masks. One of the big things that we are looking to get is the HEPA room purifiers so that they can be in our building to ensure that the air quality of our space is safe for everyone. So beyond volunteering, let's say you don't want to volunteer at all, but you want to help. You can also donate. You can donate on our website. You can click at the bottom of the page, the very, very bottom, kind of in those fine print areas, and just make a general donation. You can set up a one-time, you can set up a recurring. We will be setting up a Patreon subscribership for you to be able to subscribe for $5 a month and be able to access content. And we have many ideas for content that are going to be coming your way on Patreon, and as well as the Enchanted Cabaret that is coming up. So thank you for listening to all of this information. We just really want to emphasize how important it is for all of you our community to be involved in an organization that belongs to you? Debbie?
I don't really have anything to add. I just, yeah, donate. We need your help and we need your money. That's the best way to say it, I guess. We are hoping to survive this and come out on top of it. We are fortunate to have a great landlord who's working with us, and but we still have bills to pay. So
Absolutely. And one of, just as we're going to be looking through some questions that are coming up, if you do have questions, so please feel free to leave those in the comment box, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. A huge, huge thank you, first of all, to everyone watching. A shout out for us, and thank you to Daniela Dole, who put our beautiful PowerPoint presentation together, and our behind the scenes Wonder Woman, Christy Baker, who is making sure that we're all in and out and off at proper times. This is a new platform for us. Here she comes. Um, so this is something that we decided to try, and so far so good. So thank you for joining us. So one of the questions that I do see on the comments um, from Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. It's good to see you. And she said she just got her COVID shot. So awesome, wonderful. She says, who are your board members now? So I am the president. Jordan Embry is our vice president. Debbie Flores is our treasurer. And our fourth officer, Hope Ruiz, is our secretary. We also have Angie Alley on our board. I'm going to forget these off the top of my head, so you guys help me out. Angie Alley, we are welcoming back Elizabeth Ponick to our board. One of our newer members is also Kale Brown. We have Lilia Ruiz. Oh, you guys help me. I can't do this off the top of my head.
Alyssa.
Christy Baker. Alyssa Hall.
Vicky Singer.
Vicky Singer. That's 7. There's 11 of us all together.
you.
I said me.
Oh.
Maybe I just didn't count me. What am I missing?
Lilia.
I got Lilia. They're all on the website, minus the updated Kale, and Elizabeth will be getting added to that as well. I can't. Oh my gosh, one of them is probably screaming at me right now if they're watching, and I'm so sorry. Our board members are fantastic. There's just a lot of us. So there are 11, Marilyn. Thank you for asking, and we can list those in the comment section as well. And our lovely Ashley Lopez, who has done many productions with us, asked, does being on a committee affect chances at being in productions, or are all welcome to audition whether on a committee or not? That's an excellent question. And the answer to that is no. Being on a committee does not affect your ability or prevent you from auditioning to be in a production. It's happened many, many times. Let's see. Well, currently, Debbie Flores is on our board. She's the chair of our finance committee, but she is also a cast member of our Enchanted Cabaret. So absolutely, this does not affect your chances. The only one that we are asking that you not be a part of if you're wanting to be in the production is the show selection committee. We can absolutely, you can offer your ideas and your advice, but when it comes to actually assigning or looking at proposals that directors have put in to direct the show or choreograph or stage manage any of those, we are going to ask that you not be a part of that vote when the time comes if you are on that committee. That's a great question, Ashley. Thank you. She said, whoop whoop, cool beans. And I think that's how she said it, which is how I emulated it. Jim Williams suggested, how about some reunion concerts with folks from past shows, seasons, including Akloa shows? That is a great idea. And I am going to either ask that Christy or Angie write these great ideas down while I am talking. Current board members, as our secretary, the great Hope Ruiz, just dropped that in the chat box for us. So myself, Jordan, Debbie, Hope, Vicky, Christy, Angie, Alyssa, Elizabeth Ponick, and Seth Garcia. So I had all of them. They were just in really random orders, or I wasn't thinking about it. Thank you for that, Hope. She is always good about keeping us um, accurate on our information. And I am not seeing a whole lot of other comments. I'll give it a few minutes. With that, though, thank you to everyone who filled out the survey questionnaire that went out along with the announcement of this town hall. We had about 40 responses, all coming in with great either suggestions and information about how you're feeling about possibly returning. And I did kind of want to share that one in general. So one of the questions was, when official restrictions on live performances are lifted, I will be ready to return to the theater for live performances when. A majority of you clicked several of these. So the options were when a vaccine is available for all ages, if everyone in the audience wears a mask, um, if temperatures are taken at the door, and if you are convinced that the theater is properly sanitized. So we are definitely going to take all of these things into account when it comes to opening our doors back up for you. And Alyssa, another one of our board members, said those survey results are so helpful and keep them coming. That survey is going to be open. We can continue to repost it probably for the next few weeks to get your feedback as we start planning beyond the cabaret and the radio shows. And Debbie,
We
yes,
had a question from Rob Cisneros. He
you
says, you mentioned,
shows later in the year for the season. How many and what time slots are you looking at? That's a great question, Rob. I'm going to let Jordan answer it.
So at the moment, we're looking at 3 slots later in the year. And these will be virtual shows that we'll be putting together. Those slots will be August, October, and December. Because of just everything going on, we're trying to figure out. We're just trying to make sure that we're ready before we open. And so for now, it just makes sense to stay closed and do virtual shows. And we will be very shortly putting out a form where people can start submitting ideas for those slots. So everybody get those ideas churning in their heads, and we will be giving everybody those opportunities soon. So yeah, should be exciting.
And then Rob, you said director question. Is that a question or a statement? I'm very confused by that. If you can clarify.
I think
Jim
he was just
also.
clarifying his question. Ashley
Oh,
asked a
that
question also, another question.
Oh, Ashley. So I will do these in order. Thank you, Debbie, for keeping me on task. Said, can you be on more than one committee? Absolutely. Please. And the four of us say that enthusiastically and emphatically because many of the board members not only serve as a chair, but we also serve on committees as well. Personally, I believe I am currently head of marketing. I'm on the education committee. I'm on PCAQ. There might be even one more that I'm missing. I'm not entirely sure. We all overlap. And that is also the big push, honestly, for wanting more of the community members in. We don't need to run this. This is a community organization. This is not just, oh, what the board says goes, and that is the end of it. It's really not. And we really don't want it to be that way. We want your input always, and we want to hear the voices of those that we are representing. So great question, Ashley. And then Jim even asked again, even post COVID, hopeful that some virtual performance aspect continues. Non-local folks may like to enjoy and support MTS. We agree with you, Jim. It has become, right, a blessing and a curse, double-edged sword, that other people and family members even are able to view shows from across the country or across the world. I know, who is it, Ricky Carroll, who was one of our performers in hair. She currently lives in the Netherlands and had asked if she was able to view Spamalot, and we were like, yes, please. So that's a great thing. We will all be eager to get back into the black box to do performances, but definitely keeping in mind how can we keep the virtual life as an extension of our theater. That's great, Jen. Thank you. And Courtney says, thank you for being so transparent. Absolutely. We have nothing to hide. And oftentimes, I think people, I know personally, if I see like an organization or a board, I'm like, oh, I can't talk to them. They must be intimidating. Nah, we're not. We're all working for theater, for the love of what we do and enjoying getting to create things together. And Ashley, I'm loving the question. For those 3 slots for productions this year, are you looking for already known musicals, or would you be interested in original scripts, productions written by people in our community? Jordan, you want to answer that one? Or did he freeze? Oh my goodness, he's frozen. I believe the answer to that, from what we have discussed, Ashley, is both. So works that are already established, but we are curious and looking to see, what our community is going to come up with and what is available. We know that there are so many great artists and people in this community and beyond, and just need a platform, right, to try new things and to see how it is received. Um, so absolutely, why not pitch new ideas? It is not strictly those works that have already been established. That's a great question. Debbie?
Just wanted to add to that the licensing companies are opening up more and more shows to allow them to be virtual performances. So there would just need to be a little bit of research done to see if the show that somebody might propose is available in that format.
Absolutely. Thank you, Debbie, for that reminder. Right. Anyone else want to talk and not hear me anymore? Oh, let's see. Another question there. So it says, what happens to those who purchased season passes and only saw Dreamgirls? That's a great question, and I had a better answer to this about a year ago. I would reach out to Hope Ruiz. She is our box office manager. There was a period, Ken, that we were reaching out to those who had season passes. We were encouraging you to keep your season pass, but that it was going to be moved to 2021. But since we aren't having a technical 2021 season, it would move to 2022. But if you contact Hope Ruiz at hope@mtsabq.org, she can discuss those options with you. That's a great question, Ken. And that is something that we will also update on our website for those who are moving their season passes to this year, but we'll have to do it again. Thank you for that. Mark, are the rights less expensive for those virtual shows? I believe so, but it still depends on the show and the popularity of it. More popular shows always tend to be more expensive regardless, but as a virtual setting, it does seem that the majority of them do have a lower price on the licensing. And it's hard when you look up licensing because it basically gives you a calculator. You have to look into the venue size, so how many your audience would or wouldn't be in a regular setting is what they factor in. So for instance, for ours, we always have to calculate in 100-seat theater, how many weekends we're wanting to run, and our average ticket price. So that is what goes into when you get not proposal, what's the word? When you get a request back of, um, or when you put in a request for wanting to buy the or license a show. So that's a good question, Mark. Just depends on the show. And Adrian, oh, it's good to see you, Adrian, or hear from you. Is there a donation goal you are shooting for currently? I know that our Finance and Development and Outreach Committee are working to put together a specific goal, and that's a great question. Debbie, do you remember any of those conversations that Development and Outreach has had?
We would just kind of like to try and recoup some of the funds that we have lost, so far, just to keep us going. Right now, I'm going to say 20,000. So that's a big goal, especially for right now when so many people have lost jobs and have had to cut back on stuff. But it's just whatever you want to donate, we'll accept anything. We had one lovely gentleman that would send us a $5 check every month, and every little bit helps. So whatever you can afford. But we'll
Absolutely.
when we come up with an actual goal, we'll when we put our fundraiser together, we'll let you know.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Adrian. All right. Well, Ashley, you and I are just going to talk. It's great. So let's say I don't have any expertise in the areas of help you are looking for. Might there be training I could receive to be of help in the way MTS would need a volunteer to help? Absolutely. We are always welcoming people who even just want to learn or might be able to take on a small task. Currently, I passed off one of my marketing tasks of handling social media to the wonderful Krista Garcia. So that's something as simple as, hey, we're going to come up with the information or gather information, from marketing, from development and outreach, from the board, and for instance, like this town hall, and she helped create the regular posts that you were seeing. So absolutely, Ashley, we can, whether it's you specifically or anybody else, we can find a place for you. Absolutely, great question. Debbie.
Just wanted to add something to that.
Absolutely.
We're also looking at, I believe the education committee is looking to putting on some classes for like people that want to learn how to stage manage or want to learn how to do lighting or sound or stuff like that, which is very intense pieces of putting on a show. And there's not a lot of people out there that know how to do that. I don't. I want to learn, but if we're going to put on classes, I'll be first in line.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well, Debbie. We're always looking for people. At one point, I know we had kind of an apprenticeship type program if you were wanting to learn how to stage manage, how to direct, how to music direct, how to choreograph, how to be a crew member, how to be an assistant stage manager. And that is something that us as within the education committee that we are also looking to bring back because as Debbie said, we need more people who can do sound design or be a sound technician. We need people who can operate a light board and design the lights themselves for a show. There are so many things that go into a live production, and what better time to begin learning skills? So we absolutely welcome people who want to learn. And while we are wrapping up, we'll give about 5 more minutes if anybody has a question. On the website, on the main page and on the committees section, we will be putting up a link that's basically a cognito form. Any of you that have done shows with us understand that we use cognito forms for everything. And that is for you to be able to basically apply for a committee. It will have all the information on it, whether you're wanting to check box off, yes, I'm interested in this, this, and this. I have skills in this area. There's even a section of, I just want to be a one-time volunteer or be on that actual committee. And we are asking, write us kind of a proposal or add your resume so that we can see skills you are what skills that you do have and skills that you would want to offer to us to see where we can fit you in best if you are not specifying a committee. And I am going to drop that in the comment box if I can. I don't know if I can. Christy, I might send this to you because I know she's listening, and see if we can't get that working in there. Give me just a second. And Ashley asked, will there be a list of these positions you are looking for on the website? Yes, Ashley. So as I mentioned earlier, that I'm the one who is handling our website. I put in the work that I thought was correct last night and hit update for the website. And when I looked this morning, it had all disappeared. So I did as much of it as I could before the town hall, and that instinctual check and make sure to see if this got done kicked in, and when I looked, it was all gone. So I put as much of it as I could back on the website for now, but this afternoon we will be updating those kind of wish lists of skills and what we are asking for. Yeah, O was a huge thing, Ashley. So, if you know anyone with knowledge on how to work the back end of a website, please send them our way. Rob asked, what timetable are you looking at for the show proposals for the 3 slots? That's a great question. I believe we're going to be setting a deadline probably for March. Within the next week, we will be writing up kind of the requirements and what we're asking you to put in those proposals for shows, whether it's just a suggestion, you're actually wanting to direct and propose a show. So early March is when we will be setting that deadline for those 3 August, October, and December slots. And as technology happens to fail us at times, Jordan's internet crashed and Christy's computer froze on her, so she'll be back on in a minute. But we will be adding that link for you onto the comment section of this video and posting it on Facebook, directing you from Instagram and on the website as well. So if there are no real, or not real, all questions are real. If there are no other questions that anybody has or cannot think of, we are going to say have a good day. Thank you so, so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to kind of listen in on our update, what has happened in the past year and what is going on. As always, we welcome you. You are part of our family. MTS is your home, and it being your home, we definitely need people to help keep it clean and organized. So, as a teacher, that's what I usually tell my kids. This is all of your space. We need to keep it. We need to keep it up. And thank you for everyone who asked questions, left comments. Oh, Lena, it's so nice to hear from you. Rob, Mark, Alyssa, Ashley, saw Courtney on there, Adrian, and Bonnie. In case anybody didn't put that one together, that's my mom. So thank you so much. We will also resend that survey out and just keep an eye out for all of the exciting things to come. Have a good afternoon, everyone.